What is up, everybody? It is Ak here, back with another video, and in today's video we're going to be talking about botting. And we're going to be talking about its impact on WoW, whether that be, the 30 instance lockout or massive amounts of gold that are getting poured into the game, things like that. And it's something that has really impacted the game recently in Classic, but it also is going to extend to retail, and it's going to definitely extend to TPC once we get there. For example, there have been some crazy purchases recently of items in AQ. Here we have a couple different GDKP sheets that I saw. And look at this. Ancient Karaji Ripper, 115,000 gold for one item. Here, Jam Garbar, 50,000 gold for one item. And there's GDKPs like this going on all over the place. And don't get me wrong, I don't have a problem with GDKPs. I think that GDKPs in their original essence are good. They provide people who can't raid or who have alts that they can't bring to their raid or something like that an opportunity to get gear, and other people are able to make money from it, which is great. However, it's getting to the point where the majority of the GDKPs are purely funded by gold buying, and that is not okay. There is a very small chance that somebody has gone out and farmed 115,000 gold and or would feel comfortable spending 115,000 gold knowing the amount of time investment that they had to make to get that 115,000 gold. To put it into perspective, a good gold farmer, so somebody who's doing really well, will get on average about 250 gold per hour. Now, you can get 400, but you're probably going to get about 250. So if you're making 250 gold per hour and you have 115,000 gold to spend, that means that you spent approximately 660 hours just to be able to buy one item. Like 660 hours is 15 work weeks. It's insane. And so the odds that that is not being bought by a gold buyer is not very likely. And so it's likely coming from, gold farming that's going on, being sold to gold selling websites, and then going from there. And I don't want to pull up gold selling websites because I don't want to show them, but plenty of people, look for them and they buy gold from there. And at the end of the day, that's, their choice, and I definitely don't support it, but that's their choice at the end of the day to do that. But I think that Blizzard has been taking a stance where they've been trying to get rid of that as much as possible recently. And so they've implemented the 30 lockout system. They've implemented this massive ban waves that have been going on. On a daily basis, I had people in my chat popping in saying, I've just been banned. Just yesterday, Stormy Weather, one of my viewers, says that his account got closed because they either directly or indirectly with the unauthorized exchange, you can read it, got banned. And so he is not a gold seller. At least he says he's not, and he's never purchased gold or anything like that, but he was still getting banned. And I think, honestly, he probably got banned by association. Because at the end of the day, if somebody's going out and they're buying all this gold and they're tripping the automatic algorithms to catch those people, and then they go in and they buy boost from people, that could potentially give them the guilty by association thing. And that possibly is why he got banned. Other people get banned for farming linen cloth for hours on end to try to open up AQ. Like, there's little things that people are getting banned for. And while I think it's great that Blizzard is taking that stance to try to be proactive and ban gold buying to try to stop it, I also think that a lot of people are getting caught in the crossfire, and I think that there needs to be a better solution. And so yesterday we were kind of having a big discussion in stream about GDKPs, whether you were against it, for it, the gold buying aspect of it, and potential solutions to fix the gold buying. And so I had some, potential solutions back in the day that I had been theorizing, but they all had kind of flaws. And, this idea definitely has flaws too, but I want to get your opinion on it because I think that it could be a potential solution that would not require a ton of work on Blizzard's end. I think Blizzard doesn't want to do some massive change that's going to cause a ton of work on their end, and so they go ahead and they make a 30 instance lockout, right? And that, in theory, can catch some of the people who would be farming instances day in and day out to try to farm gold. But there's also Black Lotus botters. Here's a clip that my friend sent me yesterday during the stream of a Black Lotus spotter. And so here you can see a Black Lotus. An undead mage spawns directly on top of the Black Lotus. Directly. I don't know why I said directly. Directly on top of the Black Lotus and just constantly tries to open it and just noving mobs and things like that. And so he goes in and grabs it But you can see the mob performing this, or see the mage performing the same exact set of actions. He's in pure leveling gear, etc. And so he's just sitting there farming Black Lotuses, and he probably has, a bunch of tunes stacked up farming Black Lotuses on various locations. So it's not just instances that are being hit, right? People aren't just sitting in instances anymore, spending all that time. And so the 30 instance lockout, I understand the point of it, but I think that a lot of people have been negatively impacted by it. And so if we could find a different solution, I think that'd be better. So here's my proposed solution, and I want to get your guys' thoughts on it and any types of improvement that we can make to it and things like that. There's another game that I play called Old School RuneScape, and back in the day with the original RuneScape, there was a trade limit implemented. Now, don't get really mad at the trade limit idea and just hear me out with it for a second. So the way that the trade limit worked was that based on kind of the age of your account and, what you had done in the game, you would not be able to trade one item for another that had a massive amount of GP difference or gold difference. So, for example, let's say you want to trade Edge Masters for a random green. Well, Edge Masters is worth 4,000 and the random green is worth, silver. So it wouldn't be allowed. So there were obvious flaws in RuneScape because RuneScape's trade system is purely based on the ability, if you're not an Iron Man or something like that, purely on the ability to be able to buy any kind of gear that you want at any time. You farm the gold, you buy the gear, right? And you can buy it off the Grand Exchange, but sometimes you would just trade individual people or something like that. And so it didn't work out well because, especially if you had an alt or something, you weren't able to give him gear, weren't able to help your friends, things like that. WoW, however, is mainly based on BOP items, right? Like when we farm a dungeon, we're getting an item that most often is BOP. And if it's BOE, we're probably not going to find a direct buyer unless it's a crazy expensive item, like maybe a T-Boost or something like that. But that's a very small portion of the items. The majority of the time, we're going to throw it on the auction house and somebody can go and buy it. Or we're going to equip it, and then it's a BOP item. So the items themselves aren't going to cause a drastic issue with the trade limit. The items that could cause an issue are mats. And so my proposed solution would be that with a scaling kind of factor based on your level, so let's say like you're level 1, right? You can only trade 10 gold a day or something like that. But then as you scale up in levels to 60, you can trade, say, 1,000 gold a day. And it scales up with some kind of formula. From there, you can trade various items worth that amount of value and maybe WoW teams with TSM or something like that to build in the intrinsic value of the item, something like that. Or maybe they just have algorithms for the intrinsic value of the items, or they can just pull the auction house prices, something. You have this trade limit. And then if you go and kill a boss, or you go and do some other kind of activity that is not typical a bot would do, like most bots aren't going to go do AQ40, or they're not going to spend 2 hours doing AQ40, because if they go spend that money, that's time that they would have been able to farm gold, right? And at that point, your cap for the day could be reset. So, 1,000 gold, maybe as an example, is one thing, right? That means that it would take 115 days of buying gold to be able to buy that 115,000 gold item. So this would immediately halt the gold sellers because they wouldn't be able to sell in the drastic quantities. When I see messages from these gold sellers, because they just constantly message you in game, honestly, literally millions of gold are stacked up right now. Millions of gold. So if they can only trade 1,000 gold per day per tune, that's level 60. That means that even on a server where they have 1060s, they can only do 10,000 a day, and it would take 100 days to liquidate 1 million gold. The odds that they'd be able to pull that off are very small. Making new accounts, they would only be able to sell 1,000 gold per day, which wouldn't be enough to make it very lucrative to open up a bunch of different accounts and have, 30 different accounts that you're funneling X thousand gold through. And honestly, it wouldn't make a good buying experience either, because what buyer would want to sit there and wait in Ironforge for a gold seller to go through 20 different accounts to trade them gold? And they would also need 20 level 60s, let alone. So they would need to level all those tunes up to level 60. Now, obviously, it's not a perfect solution, and it would take a lot of thinking through, what would the limit be? What kind of items would be associated with the limit? Would all the items be associated with the limit? And how would you handle trade mats and things like that? Because people do buy trade mats. But maybe, you know, if people are in the same guild as you for an extended period of time, like 2 weeks, maybe there's no limit for trading within guild. I don't know, some kind of system that can basically say you cannot trade excess amount of gold. You just can't. But you can still play the game to your desire. The 30 instance limit literally is limiting the play potential of individuals within the game that they pay for. And so I don't think that's the solution. Automatic banning of the bots. There's a ton of people who get just automatically banned on their tunes. Not good either. Because then you get people frustrated. Then you constantly have to deal, from Blizzard's end, with massive quantities of emails coming in saying, you know, this was banned, help me unban myself, kind of idea. This would be less work for Blizzard. It would catch the bots, or not really catch them. It would preclude them from being able to do much, so there'd be less bots. The economy would deflate because the amount of gold that would be in the game would be much less. It's currently, you know, in the hands of the few, and so they can manipulate the markets. There's literally botters out there who are manipulating entire markets. That would not be possible anymore. And so I think it provides some good ideas. But if you guys have other ideas, other solutions, or something like that that could potentially fix the botting issue and the gold buying issue, which if we fix the gold buying issue, it's probably the easiest thing to take care of all the botters, let me know down in the comments below. If you like this idea, let me know. If you think that there's improvements to the idea, or if you hate the idea, let me know, because I'm really curious to see what you guys think about this idea or other ideas to fix the botting situation without a WoW token. At the end of the day, when we get to TBC, there's going to be Warglaives and and T6, like maybe the Hunter Bow out of Sunwall. There's going to be items that go for massive amount of gold. And so if we can go ahead and put in a system now that can stop the botting from happening, I think it would drastically improve the experience. We wouldn't need a 30 instance lockout, and we wouldn't have to worry about people just randomly getting, you know, flagged as botters or as gold sellers just because they associated with random people. So let me know what you guys think. Really curious, and I'll see you guys in the next video. All right, everyone, that wraps up today's video. I hope you all enjoyed it, and if you did, please subscribe and leave a like and a comment below to let me know so. And if you guys have any other ideas for any other videos, please let me know in the comments below. Also, check out the description for the Twitch where I do all this live, and also for my Twitter and Discord where you guys can be notified of any future updates and when I'm going to go live on stream. So I'll see you guys in the next video.